Later I had this buck coming through. I was really wanting to get a shot on this buck. He was a pretty nice buck on public lands, and I'm trying to grunt softly because the woods are so quiet. I can't quite get my voice to cooperate with me too well. But he heard me, and he's whooping a bush, showing his dominance. And now he's gonna work his way straight down there to me, just like being led on a string. This is old footage and really hard and difficult to find this buck in the film footage, but he's headed straight to me. And again, he catches my scent. Hunting these drainages can really be tough. On this hunt, I'm down in a hardwood bottom on a creek crossing. All the way around me is bad areas. These deer are in full-blown rut, and they're chasing these does off down into this bottom, crossing this creek back and forth. I actually walked in the creek to get to this spot. My tree is probably 2 steps out of the creek bank. I'm splitting 2 deer crossings, 2 creek crossings. These does come in, and they were going to cross the creek right there under the tree, practically. And I thought, from the looks of it, that these deer maybe smelt my ground scent. So I'm just kind of held up here thinking, nah, please don't start snorting below my opportunity. Of course, in the rut, snorting deer doesn't really bother anything. Actually, it sometimes can attract another buck that's searching for does. So, but in the back of your mind, you always want the deer to not know that you're in the world in order to ambush them properly. You can see by the reaction of these deer that they're nervous. And although I thought they were smelling my ground scent, it turns out that they really weren't smelling my ground scent. This deer is looking across the creek behind me at something. I don't know what. Me and Matthew come in here this morning. I had 2 does come by me. I watched them for about 2 hours. A coyote came in earlier and spooked the does. The does would have come down here. He was trailing the does later, and I grunted to him, and he come running straight to the tree, just like being led on a string. I made a good shot on him. I thought I had it all recorded, but I didn't get any of it on video like I thought. I wish y'all could have seen it. It was a pretty shot. I'm set up on the edge of a little creek bottom in a hardwood drainage in between 2 pine thickets. And these deer are chasing and grunting like crazy. But they're all headed toward a sure enough nasty thicket. So I packed up my stuff and moved to that thicket. There's a group of pine trees in amongst all this. It's super thick everywhere around me, except for right here in the middle of all this is an opening that I set up in. This deer that I drew back on, I'm fixing to try to take a shot on him. I thought, but as I'm turning around to look, it's not really a deer I want to shoot, but I at least want to get it on video. Now, this spot is on public hunting lands, in case you were wondering. Watch the top of these trees shaking right here. You're looking at an all-out, full-blown buck fight. I'll let you listen. I thought a little bit of slow motion video right here would be the ticket. Now I want you to listen to these jokers when they come blasting out of this thicket. As you can see, I'm at Okmulgee Wildlife Management Area in Alabama. I had a little old buck chasing these does around all morning long. Every doe that come through here, he'd jump up out of his bed and chase them around. After multiple grunts at this buck, I finally got him committed to coming my way. As you can hear, my camcorder's about to take a dump on me. Whacked him. He run right out there and fell down real quick. Crashed right there. You can see him on film.
This will be the first deer I took home this year. And I wasn't about to let him walk by. He finally come up there. I grunted a couple more times. He come on in. He did a snort wheeze. It's the first deer I've ever heard do a snort wheeze. This was a good hunt. I gotta get him out of here. Only about a half-mile deep in the woods.
Yep, I'm hunting Alabama public lands again. I really like hunting public lands. You get to spread out more, find more locations. You're not confined as much as you would be in hunting clubs, although I do hunt in hunting clubs as well. Really, I just like hunting where deer are. But I'm next to a bed area, a major doe bed area, and as you can see, these does are wearing the leaves out on these little bushes and trees, and most of the time, probably, I guess, 70-80% of the time, deer feed on this kind of stuff. Browse, forbs, leaves on trees, honeysuckle, greenbrier. I don't know the names of all these things, but you can locate and find these little browse lines in and around close to their bed areas. The trails going in and out, they almost look like little tunnels that they're standing in there. You can sit right on top of them and deer will just filter through and feed. We got a cold front coming in. This is in the rut, December. It's another day and I'm back in the same spot. I've moved maybe 40 yards up in this thing closer to the bed area, and there's a doe come through that looked like she might be in heat and got this buck up, which he beds on the end of the knob. I've been after this sucker, wanting to get a look at him. I didn't even know what he looked like. All I saw was his sign, his tracks, and the rubs, and all the active scrapes around the area was just blowing my mind. And here he comes. That, my friends, is a nice buck deer. When you see tines and beam lengths that long, it gets you really excited. My heart's about to explode out of my chest right now. And I tried drawing my bow back, and he throwed that head up because he heard that noise, and I just froze at half draw. I don't want to get busted by this joker. And he got his head up looking all around. As soon as he moves, I finished my draw. But I don't have a good shot angle, and he's moving too fast. My mind's going 1,000,000 miles a minute, trying to figure out where am I going to get a shot in this mess. Of course, he stops right behind the tree. In my mind, when he takes 1 inch step forward, I'm letting that arrow fly because I'm going to put it right in him. Perfect.
Matt! Matt! Yes!
My heart has gone absolutely berserk over this deer. When I shot this deer, I seen this deer run for 100 yards at least. And I heard him crash. And I thought, he's got to be down. And we ain't found a single drop of blood until, would you say this deer run 300 yards?
Yeah, around the bottom of that hill. You shot him right over yonder.
I shot him on the other side of that ridge over there.
On the other side of that, and
He run all the way around the end of that ridge.
ran up in it.
Yeah, ran up in it. That's where I heard him crash on top up there. And then he come back out of it. I heard him get back up, and he come back out, and we didn't find blood until like somewhere around that pine tree last. As you can get right there.
About 50 yards.
50 yards worth of blood.
And there he lay.
Oh my Lord. Would you look at that deer?
That 8-point better than mine.
That is,
I loved with him there.
I love it too.
Yeah.
When I seen him coming through the woods, I knew that this was a big buck. There was no doubt about it whatsoever. I knew good and well this was a buck of a lifetime. I can't even talk. I'm so nervous I can't even talk. Man, what a deer.
That one will definitely go on the wall.
I'm hunting West Jefferson public lands. You guys may remember that. It's no longer in existence, but you can hear the clear cutting in the background. That's pretty much what they've done with every bit of that West Jefferson public hunting lands. I got deer in front of me, and I got deer behind me, and even to the side. He's looking for her. It's pretty fun when you know you got a hot doe in the area and all these bucks are after her and you're in the hot seat. It don't get much better than that right there. He's listening to another deer grunt. I got deer behind me now. I want to turn around so bad I can't hardly stand it, but this deer is nothing but air between me and him, and I know if I move, he's gonna spot me. Boy, he wants in on the action so bad he can't stand it. Odds are the buck behind me is bigger than him. And another buck comes in, wants to join in the fun. Now the buck that I heard grunt earlier was not this buck. They're behind me in a drainage in the woods. All these other little old bucks run around out in this clear cut. I may have more than one doe in heat. All I know is it's pretty exciting so far. Finally, I get a chance to turn around and see what's going on behind me. Now that's a stud. Starting to rain on me. Come on, baby, bring him over here to me. That's right. Cameraman sucks. Man, just when I think I'm gonna get a shot on this buck, he stands behind a bunch of trash. Won't give me no shot. I'm on pins and needles, guys. It's exciting. Him turning his head sideways, getting through that thick stuff. He wants that doe, but he don't want to go in the opening to get her. That's a mature buck for you. There's just no opening to get a shot through there. He's mighty brave. Not today. Just not gonna happen. After a lot of scouting, I think we've finally got these deer figured out. I believe Matthew's in the hot seat on this hunt. Maybe he'll get one with his bow. Sure hope so.
I heard Matthew just shoot just a little while ago. And I told him to sit there for just a little while longer. Maybe another deer would come by me and I'd maybe get a shot and come and get a double. It's been about an hour since he shot. And in that time, I had another little buck come by me and got him on video. Matthew got down out of his tree stand. He called me on the walkie-talkie. He said he got good blood on his arrow. We fixin' to go blood trail us a deer. The boy got him one. I heard the deer crash after the shot, so I'm confident the deer's down and we're gonna go get his bug. Tell me what happened.
I was actually asleep in my tree, and he woke me up. He was down. To my left, there's a ditch that goes down and comes back up, and the trails come off that hill, that ditch, in different places, and then they come across, and I'm hunting the trails that come across. And he was down there on the other side of the ditch, sniffing those trails, that intersection. And he stayed down there for a minute or two, then he started walking. And I thought he was going to come across, and he cut up the hill, coming straight towards my tree, which made me angry, because a few days ago, I missed a big 8-point who did the same thing to me, came straight towards my tree, and ended up dead under my tree. Luckily today, he got 10 yards from me and cut up the hill, and I had a 10-yard broadside shot on him. And so now we just gotta go find him.
Let's go find him. Be right in the bottom of that holler, I bet. Getting close. Hmm?
You see the deer?
No, I don't see him yet. You know, if I saw the deer, I'd show him to you.
That's right here.
He obviously crashed right there, no doubt. Pretty steep.
He's a 10-point.
There's my boy's deer. Man, that's a pretty deer. Good night alive. Oh,
I really didn't count his antlers. I just knew I was going to shoot him.
you just saw he had horns on his head, and you knew he was a shooter buck, huh?
Broke off brow tine, but man, I made a perfect shot. That's where the arrow went in.
He really didn't go that far.
No, it's hard to follow him in this pine straw. Man, he's pretty.
I thought I heard him crash. He sounded a lot closer.
Yeah, I heard him crash too, but I probably heard him falling down that hill.
Yeah, he was sweet. He ran toward the truck. I love this deer.
Man, that's awesome.
Kind of glad we come here today, ain't you?
Mm-hmm.
You can sit in that stand right there and shoot another buck on the next trip. Very good possibility of it. Man, that's a pretty deer, son.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy.
That is your first
My first
rack bow kill ever.
Mm-hmm. Biggest buck I've killed before this is a little spike.
That may be your biggest buck ever. I believe that's going to be your biggest buck ever.
Well, with it having the extra point, 2 points, that makes a difference.
He definitely got the prettiest rack.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
That 7-point you killed a little bit wider than that.
Yeah, he had longer tines, but I mean, it's just
But that deer right there is pretty.
even Steven too, man.
Oh,
I made a
man.
perfect shot. I'm happy about this. With me missing that 8-point the other day, this makes me feel good.
It kind of makes up for it, don't it?
I was beginning to think it's been 2 years since I've killed a deer with my bow, and I've hit and injured a doe. I've missed 2 different does. I missed a spike. I've just not had good luck the past 2 years of bow hunting. I missed a wall hanging 8-point 2 days ago.
Yeah, that was a big 8.
And
He's a giant.
so I hit. It's a good shot. Maybe that'll break my bad luck streak. I'm most happy about this.
Got you a 10-point buck with a bow on public hunting land
Yep.
during gun season
Yep. Gun hunt today.
on a gun hunt day.
There's a lot of people shoot this morning right at daybreak. Like 4 or 5 shots.
Yeah, I heard them. They sounded like, one guy sounded like he killed something. It sounded like the bullet made impact. That is awesome. You was getting close. Dog. I could tell when I looked ahead
I saw him fall
and I
down the
seen
hill.
the sliding.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially when I seen it
And
coming
the road
down
man.
through there, I knew his one leg was dropping and that he was losing it. And then when I seen that blood, I could stand there and I could see blood way up there. And I just waiting on you to get up there to it. But I didn't see the deer until we come over, because he was up against this
Nah, right, he was right
bank
there.
here. You couldn't see him against that steep bank. I was looking past him, but I knew he had to be laying here somewhere, looking at that blood trail.
I couldn't have made a better shot.
Mm-mm.
I mean, if it was 2 inches lower, maybe, but
No, you're high. Good Lord, you're 20 foot high in a tree.
I know. Where's the exit? Well, we'll look at the exit one later.
Fix my hair. Look pretty for the camera. In this video, I'm set up on a little oak ridge that's tucked in between a major pine thicket on both sides. The deer bed all in the pine thickets, and when the bucks get to chasing these does, they'll bail off down in this little bottom, this oak ridge, and they'll run around it. It's really proved to be a pretty good spot over the years. During the pre-rut activity, I've seen a lot of bucks chasing does in this one little spot. The ridge is kind of thick on one side and the top, and then open in this little drainage. These does, I'm assuming, just got pushed out by a buck, although I don't see the buck. This doe here's coming up the ridge. She's looking behind me. The behind me is really thick, where the bucks usually try to hold up. I'm thinking she's gonna bust me. She spotted me up in the tree. She doesn't quite know what I am, but her curiosity is really starting to aggravate me, because I can hear footsteps behind me. I look around, and this buck has come right up behind me and caught me with my pants down. You can hear him walking. He is right just nearly under my tree right now. I'm thinking, what am I gonna do? I got a nice buck dead behind me, and I can't do nothing with these does standing here in front of me. If I try to move, make a shot on this buck, everything's just gonna blow out. I just gotta be patient, see what happens. You could hear him walking right behind the tree as she sidesteps. I'm thinking, well, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen really fast, so I better get my bow drawn. Waiting for an opportunity, looking at him, looking at her, still wanting to try to film deer. The self-filming stuff can get pretty chaotic at times. I don't know which side of the tree he's going to try to run out from behind me. When he does, I want to be ready with this bow. And they're all just going to bail off down in the bottom, looking around, and he's going to circle back. I don't get a shot at him. They're all bailing off into the bottom. I got to get turned around in this tree if I'm going to video this buck. I can't move right now. Finally get turned in the tree and he's walked off. Of course, he ain't going to come back, but I'm going to try anyway. Get his attention. I got nothing to lose right here at this point. Anyway, he's going to chase them does around for a while. This little spike come out of nowhere, easing up on the opposite side of me. Seems like the younger bucks, they want to be in the action, but not too close to it. And out of nowhere, this happens.
He's down. Right there, I can see him.
I'm 14 steps from the tree right now, pasted off. I can see the deer. He's about 40 yards. That's about how far he went. This is a good spot right here. It's been good to me over the years. I've seen a lot of deer here. Honestly, I didn't have a whole lot of confidence this morning. I come in here. It's the first time I've hunted this spot this year. I've been saving it. And when I got in here, there wasn't a whole lot of deer sign like I'm used to seeing. The rut is still not on here in Alabama. But this buck was harassing these does anyway. And frustrated, he decided to come back down here and do a scrape. I grunted and did several bleats and whatnot, and trying to convince him to come off those does. They stayed up on top of this ridge for about an hour, hour and a half. I gave up on him. I didn't think he was coming back. I sat down in my tree stand, just got comfortable and relaxed. I thought, well, I'll sit here a little while, see what comes through. I heard footsteps. I look up and he's behind me. Before I know it, he's right here. So it happened pretty quick. I got my buck loaded back up in the truck. Saw in the video, made a good shot on him. He crashed 40 yards away. I didn't get any recovery footage of the deer on site. Mainly because, well, I forgot. As I'm scouting my way in, I almost walk up on this doe that's coming around the trail that I planned to sit on. So I'm going to let her kind of make her way through and try not to spook her. Get on up in my stand and get in position for the hunt. Once I get set up in my tree stand, it's not long before this little 6-point comes in there and starts marking his little tree. You can see the little tree that's moving right behind that bigger tree that he's rubbing. He's actually a pretty good sized tree that he's rubbing on, so small bucks do rub on decent sized trees. But you can tell by the way he's rubbing on that tree that he ain't shredding it. So there's obviously a bigger buck in here. The indications of the rubs themselves and the sign lets me know there's a bigger buck in this area. The rut's kind of starting to kick off and these deer start to get a little bit more active. A little later on, this 3-point comes in. He starts picking up a few acorns here and there, kind of checking things out. He pretty much ends up right under the stand sniffing my ground scent. He's not really sure what it is, but he's going to study it for a while. I forgot to mention that along with all the rubs in this area, there's a pretty good primary scrape just about 50 yards upwind of where I'm sitting at this moment. It's kind of fun just being this close to deer and them not having a clue that you're standing right above them. I just shot a nice buck. And again, I turned the camcorder on. I know I hit the record button. I thought I was recording. Apparently I did not get it on film. He was chasing the doe. I went ahead and turned the camcorder on when I saw the doe. And then I hit record. I thought I was recording the doe. And then the buck came over the ridge and I looked at him. I said, no, he's a shooter. So he come down. I grunted at him, got him to stop.
I almost didn't get him to stop. He was after that doe. I made a shot. I think I hit, well, I know I hit far back. I saw exactly where the arrow hit. I'm going to give him some time. I think I got lung, but I'm in the back. I'm in the back of it. The deer went to the bottom of this hollow and he stopped. And I've not seen him move from that spot. I'm hoping he laid down right there. I'm looking at him right now, if that's him.
I'm trying to figure out whether he's dead or not. This buck comes cruising through there, sniffing, checking, trying to find that doe that just ran through. He's going to go down there and get my buck up.
Really? That's my buck laying on the ground. That other buck went over there and looked at him, but didn't do anything. He's just laying there. Dadgummit. I made a bad shot. He should be dead by now. Been 10 minutes. See, I hit the record button on the one that I didn't want to shoot.
After watching this buck lay here for some time, I decided to get down out of my tree stand very, very slowly and see if I could sneak up on this buck and get another arrow in him. As I was doing so, he got up and started to walk away from me, apparently going after the doe. And as he was walking that direction, I noticed that he was hurt really bad, having difficulty walking. So I sat there and thought about it, and I decided to circle around him and try to get in front of him, see if I could cut him off. I sat there on the trail for about an hour, and I never saw this deer anymore. So I figured he either slipped out, something happened, I didn't know for sure, and I backed out. That's when I got Thomas Jackson and his dog Lee to help me out.
Buddy, I sure appreciate you bringing your dog down here to help me find this deer. Oh, I couldn't take a chance in pushing this deer. I backed off on him. This is exactly the last place I saw him. He laid down right here, and I gave up a little too soon. But it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
You push a deer like this right here, they could go a long ways.
Yeah, that's a good
He
buck.
never knew I was sitting right there on that ridge where I told you that he got up out of his bed.
Yeah.
That's where I was.
Shoot.
I said it was 100 yards. Heck, that ain't about 60, is it?
No, he just laid down
He just
right
laid
here.
down right here. Good dog.
Good boy, Lee.
I sure appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Right off the bat this morning, I see this doe coming in. You can obviously tell that she's fixing to go into heat just by the way she acts. I know right now this is going to be a good day. If you watch her, you can pretty much tell that she's being chased by bucks just by the way she's looking around, nervous like. This is one of those days where you want to just hang tight. watch and see what goes on, because anything can happen when you got a doe in heat. It wasn't too long after this doe went through, this little buck comes slipping up the back door. He's acting real nervous, like maybe he's in a bigger buck's territory. I know there's a good buck in here, so I'm just going to watch his reactions, kind of see how he goes through this area. Hopefully this doe will hang around and get chased back through here pretty soon. If not, I may pick up and relocate. I forgot to mention this, but I am in the great state of Alabama on public hunting lands during the rut with a bow and arrow in hand. Gun season's open, but I love hunting them with a bow. Now this doe has come back through a second time. She's being chased, obviously. She's sneaking through here, trying to keep up with where all the bucks are. So this is her area. She doesn't want to leave this spot. These bucks are chasing her all around. I'm going to try to stick this doe with an arrow. That's me drawing the bow back really slow. I don't want to spook her, because she's on pins and needles, dude. And anything you do will spook this doe. But if I can get an arrow in her, I'll not have any better bait in the world, because all these bucks are looking for her. And just so you know, it's legal in Alabama to kill a buck and a doe in the same day. Unfortunately, I missed her, and she didn't really know what happened. She's a little confused right now, so you'll hear her snort. Now most people would think your hunt's over right now. Give up. No, sir, your hunt's not over. These deer snort and chase each other, break limbs, noises happen. The woods is active, a lot of commotion going on. Her snorting right now, it could actually attract a buck to this area, believe it or not. Because these bucks are looking for her, and they know that's her snorting. So, game ain't over yet. I'm going to give out a few bleats and grunts here and try to confuse any other deer that might be listening. I have called quite a few bucks up to me doing this right here. It wasn't 20 minutes went by and this buck comes slipping down the edge of this other ridge over here, and I'm going to try to get a shot on him quick as I can. Damn it! Bad thing about the rut is they don't give you a whole lot of time to think about it. You can barely tell in the video, but he is a mature buck, got a high rack and pretty decent width. but it still ain't over yet. I'm fixing to smack talk this buck and see if I can't challenge him. He might not have took the challenge, but this one did. He come out of nowhere. Almost caught me with my pants down, so to speak.
You're kidding me.
Folks, I ain't gonna lie to you. Hunting the rut for me, it's a love-hate relationship. It probably wasn't 10 minutes later, this little old buck starts coming right through the same area. Not nearly as aggressive and dead set on coming through as that big buck, but he's very curious as to what's going on. These young bucks, they'll just zigzag everywhere. No rhyme or reason as to what they're doing, but them big bucks, they're on a mission, they're determined. They know what they're doing, they know where they're going. So when that big buck comes through, best advice I can give you during the rut is you better take the first shot you got, because they not going to give you a second chance hardly. I should have probably just slung an arrow at that deer moving, to be honest. As close as he was, I could have killed him. And I kicked myself every day in the butt for not taking that shot.
Sure has got a pretty little rack on him.
Elite.
Well, tell me the story real quick.
Well, it's very windy today, so I'm pretty much set up, cozied up, waiting for the wind to die down. And I hear it behind me. I'm up on that hill up there, and I saw it down close to the road, just on top of the hill. And he was right in that spot where right in that swag where I actually walk up to get to my tree. I don't know if he was over there sniffing the ground where I walked or not. He wasn't making a lot of noise. But then he started walking away from me up the other ridge. I grunted at him. He turned instantly and came straight to me. Gave me a 10-yard shot and nailed him. He ran across the road and stood on that hump right there. And I heard him, after about maybe 5 minutes of him standing there, I just heard him fall down. He was laying just on the other side of that hump.
Can't beat that. How can I get my deer to run toward the road like yours do?
You gotta hunt closer to the road.
So you had like a 15-yard drag?
No, well, the
Maybe.
hardest part was getting it up over that little hump.
Yeah.
But then he kind of just rolled to the road after that.
So you had to drag him uphill, what?
I may have grunted at least once, you know, just the effort.
Just the effort of getting over the hump, and then he rolled to the road from there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
It's the second buck I've killed out of this tree, and both of them ran right to the road. It's a good tree.
Hey, congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
That's your first video kill buck.
Yep, let's get him home.
Let's do it.
On the road.
What do you think about that, old man?
I wish I could get out there and kill one of them.
That's his first video buck.
Oh, okay. You guys on video, good shot and everything?
Mm-hmm.
How far did it go? 900 yards?
60.
60?
I heard it crash. If it goes 900 yards where we're
I'm
hunting,
glad
we're
you just went ahead and killed one of them. Doggone it, it's getting towards the end of the season.